good. What about you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for asking. So, कैसा चल रहा है weekend आपका?
It's going good, honestly. I woke up and had my granola chia seed pudding breakfast, and I really liked it. So my day is going good. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. And do you have any plans for the weekend?
I don't actually don't have any plans.
Sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Very sad. All right. So before we get into the formal conversation, I would love to hear about something about you for the audience, and then I would love to hear about your journey. So over to you.
Right. So I just graduated with a bachelor's in computer science, and I currently work as a product designer at Arbysoft. And on the side, I do some community work at Design XP, which is a Canadian-based sort of apprenticeship program type company. We also have a Discord, so I really love if you guys could join it. Just search up Design XP on LinkedIn and then join the Discord community. I manage that. And other than that, I am working as a speaker outreach volunteer at DDG Islamabad. And then I also tutor part time English language and computer science coding to kids. So that's what I do. And I also have 3 bunnies. I love telling people that I have bunnies. Their names are Milo, Pasta, and Cinnamon, and I love them very much. But yeah, that's literally all you need to know about me, honestly. But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So you are actually a one man army type of a person. Uh, that's pretty cool, and I'm just wondering how do you manage all this?
Yeah. So the thing is that all of what I do is part time, like except for my full time job. So manage ho jata in the sense that I just take out like an hour or two after work because all of this is like volunteer except for my tutoring. Will be like it's like 1 hour a week. So honestly, it's not that tough to manage. Like ho jata hai. So yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. So again, after getting to know about you from your intro, that was very impressive. I would love to hear about how did you come into design?
Yeah, right. So it all started when, so before my before going into FAST and doing a computer science degree, I generally never thought that I'd go into design. It wasn't something that really, tickled my fancy or anything. I always thought that maybe I'd go towards, computer science, which I ended up doing, right? So I always wanted to get into FAST. I only applied to one place in my undergrad, and that was FAST. So I really wanted to get in, and then I got in, and then year one, like at the end of year one, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I thought to myself, like, if after I graduate and I have a software engineering job, I would hate every single day. And I vowed to myself that okay, 4 years I can live with just doing something that I don't necessarily vibe with. But after that, like I need to make a decision and be like, I have to put me first, basically, right? So like after 2 years, the summer break, I was like, you know what, let me see what the world has to offer with like a computer science degree. So then I went to Coursera's UX design course, which literally everyone has done at this point. It's like the eventually like the stepping stone, right? So it's the first step that you take. So I did that, and I realized that I really, 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 really enjoy this, like super duper enjoy this. And then I made a decision. I was like, you know what? This is something I really like. I will search up इसका scope क्या है Pakistan, because I need to know that. But what if I like something and then it doesn't even exist in Pakistan? So I did that, and then Arbysoft, like Nurture, showed up first, Nurture, and I was super intrigued by what they were doing. They had a lot of like cool side projects that they were doing. Design in the Wild, where they would go into in like Anarkali Bazaar and see like from a design perspective. They would have podcasts. They would have these design fellowship program that was super intriguing. And yeah, so I realized, okay, this is where I want to go. And I told myself, okay, it doesn't matter how long it will take me to get into this company, but I will get in here. Mark my words. And so I did that. It ended up happening fast forward like 2 years. But once I realized I wanted to UX design, everyone around me was sort of not in favor of that. They thought that, oh, you have like your coding, like so paisa hai. Why would you let go of that? And it's not like I don't like coding. I do like it. Like I teach coding as well. So, and I did tell myself that even moving forward, I still will, be intact with my roots, which is coding, and I'll still code like from time to time. But taking that as a full-time job was never an option for me. But yeah, I got a lot of like just people around me, like even if they weren't telling it, outright to me, get oh, like are you sure you want to do UX design? It's sort of honestly like any design field in Pakistan is kind of looked down upon, which I hate. But मेरे साथ ये सीन हुआ था, especially when you're surrounded by people that are like coding is their everything. Like my two close friends that I have, like they're like hardcore coders, and so I never really found anyone that was like me. Like in my 4 years, who wanted to like genuinely go into UX design. Usually, people chose UX design because they didn't want to do anything else. But for me, it was like I really did want this, and so yeah, and then that's sort of how I ventured into design. But yeah.
Awesome. And again, if I go back to your university days when you thought, कि when you got into the trust and then you think कि नहीं भाई मुझे तो नहीं करना ये, right? And this is a very common pattern that I see in probably our generation कि of course the grass is always greener on the other side, but once you get in, so you started getting frustrated, right? It could be a job, it could be a university, it could be any kind of program, it could be gym, it could be anything, right? So why does that happen? I just wanted to like know this from your perspective, like why does this happen so often with our generation?
Yeah. It's sort of like they think of this thing as an escape of their current situation. So, currently, let's say in that time I was coding, right? And I didn't like it. So, I thought that, okay, if I choose UX design, I haven't achieved that yet. But in my mind, that is an escape of it has to be different. There is no other option but to be different than what I'm currently doing. And so you have these really high expectations of this thing. Oh, I'll get in and then I'll do this and I'll do that. And then I won't have to deal with what I'm currently going through. And so it's always on the forefront of your mind. And that's why we hold it a really high standard of whatever we want to achieve, and we run after that. And so when you go into that one thing and then you realize, oh damn, like everything that I put this thing up to be on the pedestal turns out that that was false. Like everything that I thought about it was like not true. And that comes from chasing after this one thing and thinking that that is going to be my savior. And so I think that's what we struggle with. I think people in general like have hyperfixations on things. It could be like a band or music, it could be like on a movie, on like a celebrity. And so these hyperfixations sort of blind us to what could go wrong. So I think that's sort of it.
Impressive. You're right. So but just wanted to like go one step ahead with this point of view, that is it just the hyperfixation is the problem, or like what do you think, like is it the generation problem, or is it something that they have expected and it didn't like deliver at that moment? It was a very long or very big bridge between what they have expected and what they have got.
Yeah.
So I mean, just wanted to understand like what actually happens. Is it, I mean, both partially are the points that they have expected like too much and they are not getting like up to their expectations, or they have just stopped looking for the other choices, or things that are beyond that point, um, and then they, of course, the reality hit them hard. So what do you think? What could be the main problem?
Yeah, I think both of these problems go hand in hand. Like expecting something and then realizing, like, oh shit, this is not all that it was, planned that I thought in my head, and then also not looking outside of what you thought. So I think that's why I personally, I think that you shouldn't niche down too soon. Maybe if I had gone like in computer science, which I did, and imagine like day one, I thought, okay, I'm going to do product design. I think that you should at least spend like 2 years exploring, and then you have you can then choose, right? Because you've experienced all these different things. So that's why I always recommend people, like first year ke baad, the summer break that they have, don't do like any internship or anything. I don't think aapko milegi. But like instead of doing like after 1 year, but instead spend that summer break exploring all the different disciplines that you can get from your degree, and just going on in that research and then choosing what you like. So I think that helps with this problem. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So when you when you were entered in the design, right? And of course, the generation problem still exists. Okay, you get too frustrated. Not you, but us. We get frustrated too early, right? So, what was
Yeah.
the why of pursuing from that point onwards? Over to you.
Yeah. Right. So the why behind why I didn't give up, even though I did get frustrated in the beginning, was because I realized that this, at the end of the day, this is what's going to bring me happiness. Because I really do think about how I interact with products. And the number one thing that always sticks with me when I interact with anything digital is the emotion that I feel and the emotion that I see on other people's faces when they're interacting with something digital. I see all the emotions that they go through. And the fact that I could be the person that gets to decide how the other person feels when they're interacting with something, I think that gives more ownership over product. Not saying that coding doesn't give any ownership, but I just think that as a product designer, it feels like this experience or like this product is like a part of me, and that I made it, So that is what always keeps me going. That when someone's going to hold the product that you designed, they are going to feel all the emotions and hopefully positive. When they feel those positive emotions, that'll be my thing that I did that. And I've always also loved, I always have many ideas. I have like lots of ideas. I have like a whole entire, in my notes app, like I have like a ton of ideas of things. And what else is a UX designer doing other than thinking about doing things, right? You have to think about so many different solutions to a problem. You have to think about the problem, the solution, and like just ideation. I love ideating. And so I think that product design was the place where I could do all of that. And still does take into account my CS degree a little bit, like thoda bahut aa jata hai usme. So it was like the perfect mix of everything that I wanted out of my life. So yeah.
Awesome. So now I know the context behind your design, right? Why you chose design, and since now we are in a phase, or it's probably, let's just call it an era. So we are currently in the age where different roles are getting blurred. There is no proper separate line between it. जैसे कि if when I was talking to the senior designers, they are probably designing from probably 2 decades now. So what they were, according to their perspective, so there was a wave in which everything was specialized. So everyone had the roles and everything was so niched down upon, right? So everything had with the proper focus of the roles. The product designers were having even more niche down roles. बट नाउ जितना भी रोल है प्रोडक्ट डिज़ाइनर का या प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर का, their responsibilities are actually getting very much mixed up, right? You actually can see कि जितनी भी प्रोटोटाइपिंग पहले डिज़ाइनर्स करते थे, नाउ दे आर डूइंग बाय द प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर्स. सिमिलरली जो बिजनेस गोल्स का ध्यान या रिटेंशन या अडॉप्शन का ध्यान रखते थे, एक्चुअली ग्रोथ का जो ध्यान रखते थे ऐप्स का, अब सेम इज बीइंग लाइक transferred into the design role as well, right? So what was the reason of why not, जहाँ तक fulfillment की बात है, things like people, since you already mentioned कि लोग जिस तरह से interact करते हैं, it's become sort of the part of them. ठीक है, emotionally they actually interact with the products, but they actually emotionally react with them, right? So the same thing can be happened within the product role as well. So why did you choose
Yeah.
design over product?
Yeah. So, with the way that, for example, like growth, if I went into growth or maybe product management, to a certain extent, whatever they think of, they would be handing it over to the product designer anyway to make, right? So the whole aspect of just how, how they say that, oh, all the product designer does is make base and make buttons and then choose the colors. But it's just so much more than that. It's so much more than that. And I do like making buttons and dabbe. Like, what's wrong with that? Like a lot of people say, okay, oh, all you do is like make dabbe. I'm like, okay, so what? What if I just make buttons and all that kind of stuff? Because it does have an impact. People joke about it, but it really does have an impact. And also, it's like super therapeutic. like making designs. Like for me, it's super therapeutic. For me, the standard of what I like has to do with, or how much I enjoy something, is that I can listen to music and do it. So I can't listen to music and do math. So I don't like math. I can't listen to music and code. I don't like code. But I can listen to music and do design. And so that was also one of, it's a very specific reason to like something, but it just works in my brain. So clearly there's something. So that's also a reason why I chose design. I can listen to music and design. So, but yeah.
Awesome. That's a great answer. So again, it's again a generational thing, and I'm very much interested in probably getting into the perspectives of the new generations because um, जितने भी employers हैं our current employers are they are we have an age gap.
Yeah.
Of course, they were different from their previous generation, and we are different from their generation. So, how do you think choosing a job now within a company, since you are now at a great company, Ubisoft, everyone heard of him, but how much culture matters? Because पहले तो ऐसा नहीं था. People used to like think of कि हाँ पैकेज अच्छा है कि नहीं है, perks और benefits कैसे हैं. Of course, they इस तरह की चीज़ें अभी भी मैटर करती हैं, but I see now that people are preferring those companies that has the great culture, जिसके लोग बहुत अच्छे हों, पैकेज 19-20 भी हो तो चलेगा, and stuff like that. So how do you think how does this impacted you when you were actually choosing a role to pursue?
Yeah, right. So this is a really good question, mainly because I gravitated towards Ubisoft because of its culture. That was my main thing, that I wanted to get into nurture by Ubisoft because I saw the work that they were doing. And I also met with the design manager and I talked to him and I realized that this is where I want to spend my time, because you're spending like 8 hours at a place. Might as well spend 8 hours at a place where you actually enjoy working with other people and talking to them. And I think my generation, or like our generation, they are not willing to spend 8 hours of their day doing something that doesn't fulfill them. Like, I'm not spending 8 hours at a place that doesn't respect me, that I'm not enjoying, being around people that I don't even like. Like, imagine spending 8 hours working with someone you don't like. Like, that doesn't sit right with me. So, and I think our generation cares about that more. Because imagine 8 hours out of 24 hours. Like, you might as well do it somewhere you like. So I think our generation is more mindful of that and mindful of where they're putting their energy and spending their energy. And for me, literally, Ubisoft and Nurture was, I already saw their culture was kind of very obvious to me when I went through their LinkedIn. I saw that they clearly care about design, and they're doing work inside the company to increase that UX maturity. That's one thing that I really look at, is how, so you can say that you're a product designer, but are you working at a place that really cares about UX? There's so many places in Pakistan that do not care about UX at all. They just want the thing, or they just want it to look pretty and then that's it, right? But it's just so much more than making a product look pretty. So I already got all of that information, like just scrolling through their LinkedIn with the side stuff that they were doing. And I think our generation, now more than ever, really cares about what companies are doing to make their culture better. Yeah. So.
Awesome. By the way, you are very lucky that you are getting 8 hours a day, because the cultural shift that we currently observe is at least 9 to 10 hours a day is like the common norm now. So you are
Yeah.
lucky that you are spending your 8 hours with
Yeah.
great people.
True. Yeah.
Got it. So now my question will probably transition toward um, the generation, since it's again a younger generation and people are now like graduated probably in this semester now, and then of course um, so what do you think, like if somebody, any professional, it could be me, right? I'm graduating now, for example, and I have to look up to few companies that I know that they are like flagship companies. They have great culture, they have great benefits, they have great team to work with, right? And they are working probably on the cutting edge technologies, right?
Yeah.
In terms of design, and they care for design as well. It's not like every call
Yeah.
will be the leadership call, and you are not just taking the ownership of it. You're just pushing the
Yeah.
pixels, right?
Yeah.
So if I am being graduated probably in the next semester, and I
Yeah.
flagshipped like few companies, so what will be
Yeah.
my strategy to getting into that company before graduation? Because right after graduation I'll start joining them. So what
Yeah.
will be my strategy? Over to you.
Okay. All right. So I love this question because that's what I was thinking. So like 2 years back when I thought about that I wanted to get into Arbysoft, I was like, okay, I'm gonna think. Like you need to think about how do I get here? Like I set my goal. And I do this thing where I speak things into existence. So let's say I say just an example. I say, I want to get into Google. Okay? And as a product designer, let's say. And that thing already exists to me somehow, some way in the future, I'm already there. Now, all I need to do is work my way towards that point. So, in my mind, it's like there is no other thing. Like I really am working at Google. Abhi, that's not true, but that will be true. So that's how I really approach these things. Where I said, okay, I'm gonna get into Arbysoft, nurtured by Arbysoft. Okay, now I gotta think. So the number one thing that I always tell people is to please reach out to people that are working there. I love LinkedIn, and I'm not ashamed to say I love LinkedIn because LinkedIn has given me so much. Really, like I owe my life to LinkedIn because you can get access to so many people. So many people. I've made friends through LinkedIn. Like that's how crazy I am about LinkedIn. So reach out to people that are in the target company. Let's say you want to get into systems, okay? So what you're gonna do is that you're gonna first reach out to people that are already in your role. Let's say you want to get into a position of junior product designer. So reach out to someone who's a junior product designer, talk to them. I always say like get on a call with them. I think that talking to people face to on like digitally is better than texting. So hop on a call with them. Really ask them every single question that you have. Ask them about culture because it matters so much. Ask them about working hours, right? But ask them about what projects you guys are like working on, if they can disclose that information. Sometimes you can, but like anything else that happens, like literally every single question that you have. Once you're done talking to someone who's at where you want to be, go a step ahead and reach out to the manager of that role. So reach out to the design manager, which is what I ended up doing. Don't aim too high. Like, don't go to like the head of design or like design director because they're not necessarily. They haven't really. They're not that. They're not going to be with you on a day-to-day basis, right? Your manager is. So, and per se, at Arbysoft, at that point, we didn't have a head of design. So the highest that I could literally go in UX design was a design manager. So again, like talk to them. Do not talk on text. Try to like make them go into a call with you, and then showcase your entire personality. Like talk to them like you would talk to your friend. And this is where I really think that it matters the most. Talk to them like they're your friend. Okay, not too casual, but like showcase your personality. And yeah, so do that and do this. Let's say, okay, you're going to graduate in June, July. Start doing this in late December, like of the previous year, and then or like January, which is what I did. I got the job in 2025, like August, but I started making a connection in January 2025. So I went a few months back because I was like, first of all, I just wanted to talk to him honestly because he seemed really cool. So I was like, I'll just have a conversation with him. I don't know like if this is gonna lead anywhere or whatever. I did ask him if if they have any open roles. At that time they didn't, but don't let that discourage you because you've created a connection and you've had a conversation with an awesome human being, Uber said, and you're having a conversation with someone that you want to like get into the same position as, and you get to know about the company and all that kind of stuff. So just talk to people. Just talk to people that are in your target company. And once that happens, hopefully, like later down the lane, you get a referral from them. That's always awesome. Aim for that. Like I think applying to places without a referral, you're not gonna. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough to do that. So always aim to get a referral because people are getting 1,000 applications, and always try to get a referral from a manager, a design manager. If you're really bold enough, and honestly, you could even hit up the head of design, honestly, like design director. Because usually they don't even have time to see your messages. So, but if you can get a referral from them, that's literally awesome. You can bypass so many steps just because of that. But yeah, my advice, my strategy would be reach out to someone that is, in the company that you want to go to well in advance. Don't do it near your graduation time. Do it well before that. Try to go to community events that they are a sponsor of. That's always nice. Talk to people. like even talk to people that are not even in your roles sometimes, like especially on ground events. Let's say the systems is coming to Fast, okay? They're coming to Fast for are they sponsoring some NASCON event, right? And so go and talk to the people. It doesn't matter if they're not in product design, even if they're a software engineer. If they could, usually they're recruiters. They usually actually send recruiters over there for their like sponsor stuff. So talk to them, tell them, oh, you're interested. Like always tell them you're interested in joining, and show that you've done research on the company as well. Show that you care, right? Let's say your intentions of joining systems was that, oh yeah, like they pay really well, the packages are good. Maybe don't talk about that. Like talk about anything other than that. Talk about they're doing a project on this and that, and you really, really like that. And also try to build stuff on the side that has something to do with what they're doing. Yeah, but with big companies, it's a little tough because systems, they're working on so many projects, so you might not find something that they are directly working on. But just try to build your entire next few months around that company. And so gone are the days of just like blindly applying. Like you need to have a strategy going into these things, especially if you're aiming to go high. And big tech corporations in Pakistan. Startups की तो I feel like अपनी game है. Like you could, it's easier to build a connection that way. If you're applying for a startup, just hit up the CEO, honestly. You could just do that, you know? But that's sort of the strategy, yeah. So talk to people that are in your position over there, talk to the manager, try to later down the lane, once they have open registrations for their recruitment, try to get a referral. But no, don't be too pushy about it. Also, try to go to any events that they're sponsoring and talk to people. And then yeah, also engage with the managers, like LinkedIn posts, like engage with them, make them be like this is like you have to be on the top of their mind for the next 6 months. Okay, they better not think of anyone else except for you. So do that, and you'll get in. Like trust me, you will get in. It's just these little things of showing that you care and doing it like from a pure place, and never like go to a company where you're like, I know like in theory it's like, actually we go for like to a job to like get money. I get that. We do the same as well. But it's a little bit deeper than that, because again, you're spending so much time over there. And let's say your call with the manager or the person that works there didn't go well, and you don't vibe with them, then that's so nice. You realize that you don't vibe with this person. Let's say that you were so hyperfixated on this one place, and the people that work there, you don't even like them, then why are you applying? So this also helps with like not wanting to then apply to a place. Then you can focus on another company. So all of this sort of stuff, you need to have time to do this stuff. So don't wait till the last minute. Do this well in advance.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for like such a brief answer. You probably covered every perspective, except for the one that are introverts. So I mean, this strategy works for the people who are like very good with people, like
Yeah.
they really blend within cultures, and they're probably their like energies are very high, and they whenever they get into the event, probably they are the center of attention. If not, even if it's -2, that still works for them, because they are good with talking to people, holding conversations, starting even conversations. But the main problem is people who are introverts do not have that much guts. They don't have
Yeah.
that energy, to put in. So if you can give a strategy, maybe a short one, that would be nice. But if not, that won't be a problem. But what do you think about people who are introverts, who are not very
Yeah.
good with talking to people, getting to know about people, stuff like that?
Yeah. Okay, so I would really define myself as an introvert. So maybe what I say might not be the best advice to give, but as from what I've noticed and I've observed, let your work do the talk then. Like if you don't want to talk to the person, then let your work do the talk. Uske liye then you need to be like thoda sa really good than the average person. Just start posting your work on LinkedIn then. And still, maybe you don't have to hop on a call, maybe just send your posts and the work that you've done. And yeah, I think that could be a nice way for an introvert to sort of get into that space. Another thing would be, and this is what I sort of did, because in before, like sort of the year one of Fast, I wasn't super talkative, and I really honestly wasn't good at holding conversations. So what I did is that I coincidentally fell into teaching, and I think that teaching helps so much in building your talking skills. And if you're an introvert, honestly, like try to build, and you know that you're an introvert, and you know that you're gonna struggle with talking to people. then try working in a way that helps you build those skills that you are not so good at, which would be talking to people. Maybe just start with talking to a friend, right? And then I slice to build that up. This would take more time than initially reaching out to someone, because at this point you're trying to build those skills of talking to people. And but honestly, the easiest way probably would just be like let your work do the talking man. You don't have to speak so much, and that's actually also really good. Like because at the end of the day, they're gonna look at your work anyways. So if you do really good work, then you can get away with not talking so much. But yeah.
Cool. Again, with being a good professional, like I know that you are a very good professional, right? But how important it is to be active in the community as well, so that people know you. I know that helps in building connections, but in the current era, how important it is to do the community work or maybe anything related to that.
Yeah. So the way that I got into community work was because I was fixated on one society in my undergrad, and that was Google developer groups on campus. And so that's one of the only societies that I joined. The other one was a parliamentary debating society. I just ended up going into that. And the reason why I went into that was to build my portfolio of leading events to get into a higher position at Google developer groups on campus. So I was super in that. So I was like, I need to become the president. Like we call it campus lead. And then so that was my taste of going into community events and community building. And I got into that. I ended up becoming the campus lead. And then I realized that once I get a job, all of that ends. So, and I also believe that having your nowadays what we treat our job as the primary source of our friendships, our happiness. You cannot depend on your work to make you happy. You need to have a third place that will help you out. And with building friendships, it's not even about connections. Like for example, I work in GDG Islamabad or Design XP. I like working with those people. It brings me happiness. If it didn't bring me happiness, I wouldn't be there. And so more so than building connections, I view it from the point of, oh, I'm having fun. Like this is fun to me. And then uske saath saath you end up building connections. And it's not for me. I don't think I got the ROI of like building connections. More so, I like doing this stuff, and I like being a part of an event. Like you build an event, and like 500 people, 1,000 people are in that event, and you're like, damn, like I slaved away for like 1 month for this, and I love seeing a finalized output. Like wow, like itni mehnat lagai hai, and uska like this is the result, and I really like that. And that also gives you a lot to talk about in your interviews, because you want to also appear like you have a personality, like you make the hiring manager or the because usually the people that are taking your interviews are people that work there, and so talk to them, try to make it be like, oh yeah, they should, once they exit that interview, they better be like, oh yeah, like this person is so cool, I want to work with them, and so I will advocate for them when time comes to sort of shortlist people. So when you're like in community events, you open up that network of how of becoming a more interesting person. You have more to talk about. And again, like for example, connections wise, I haven't gotten a really solid ROI on that. But the ROI for that would for me would be happiness. That's what it got me. But I still do think that people should definitely outside of once they're done with their university, still involve yourself in community activities. It doesn't have to be tech. It can be making like picnics or like cakes or like doing some community for that. It's important. So yeah.
Cool, cool. So, I mean, I'm really having fun with this conversation. Um, but there is, the constraint, it's called time. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
need to be mindful of that. So, before we like end this conversation, I would love to hear about you giving probably a proper guide to the people who are actually working or not really working but looking for work actually.
yeah.
We have already like discussed students who are just graduating, but people who are either laid off or they are looking for a better place to work.
Yeah.
So do you have anything to just help them out through your
Yeah.
advice? That would be good.
Yeah. So for people that have been laid off or like looking for work, honestly, the number one thing that you could do is just post, like post on LinkedIn. That's that is going to give you so much, that is going to open you up for so many opportunities. I'm going to speak specifically as a product designer. When you start posting, it can be your learnings, or it could just be about anything, honestly, at this point. I think on LinkedIn, people crave that human touch. People are tired of AI stuff. Like, don't post AI generated stuff, please. So just talk about anything. Obviously, it should be a little bit design related, but it could not even be design related. Just like show people that there's a human being like out that is a part of this profile, and post, talk to people on LinkedIn. Just make LinkedIn your everything, right? Replace your Instagram with your LinkedIn. And also, on top of that, start building things. Like, as product designers, people are now like these big tech companies, they want people that have built something on the side. I see a lot of videos about hiring managers, and they say, I love hearing when people talk about, okay, this is something that I'm super passionate about, and I built a solution to that problem, or like a solution, or just like build anything. I think that will definitely make you stand out, and post about it, post about the process. Go on, like make Instagram videos about your entire process of building something. So I think just posting, building stuff, making connections, talking to people, making friends, even just making friends as well, even when you're looking for work. But yeah, I think this is sort of what I would say.
Awesome. When you say building on the side, right? So there is a very common sort of challenge for people that they initially get something to be prototype, but then there is a problem of, I usually hear a lot that get 10, 15 people to, test with, and then you can start probably building on top of that. But the main problem is, everybody is a bit busy.
Yeah.
And when you make something, you need a waiting list or something that gives you validation that, okay, people are actually waiting for you to build something. Even if no one is using, but still you need some kind of validation that, okay, the problem that I am currently trying to solve actually has the impact, right?
Yeah.
So how can somebody who is building something on the side can get maybe the members for their waiting list or anything like that, like people or the test users? So how somebody can actually look for them, you know, so that he can test his solution that, okay, is this gonna bring impact or not? So how is this
Yeah.
gonna happen?
Yeah. So as someone who hasn't really built anything on the side, that's my 2026 resolution, build something. But I have seen people that have built things, and the thing that I've seen them do is community. Go to community events, recruit people from there, literally. Go to community events and talk to them. Ask them if they're willing to be a test user, do that. Another thing is, yeah, I think that's the number one thing that I would say, because I'm also part of the Breakfast Club. It's a community for women. And so we actually had one of the breakfasts sponsored by this company that used our time as testing. So yeah, so do that. Like, sponsor a community event, look towards where your users are, talk to them, go to them, and maybe even sponsor their breakfast. If you want to sponsor the Breakfast Club with your breakfast, please hit me up. I'd love that. But yeah, do stuff like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Pretty cool. So before we end this amazing conversation, do you have anything to ask?
What I would ask is that, as someone who watches a lot of podcasts and really enjoys watching videos like this, could you give me any tips on like how to start doing podcasts? And I already do virtual meetups with like friends, and I love talking to people like this. But yeah, like, can you give me any tips?
Okay. Not really tips, but it's just that you are already very good at, holding conversations that I have learned like through all those episodes and all. But all you need is probably your laptop, just like we are having this podcast. All you need is just the screen recorder, if you can manage. And that's pretty much it. You don't need any fancy equipments and stuff like that, because if I can मतलब मैं setup बना सकता हूँ, but the
Yeah.
main problem is, guest की energy, like they have to travel to the studio and all, and I don't want to focus on that.
Yeah.
The thing that I want to focus is this conversation, right? This
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
this probably meaningful conversation where we have fun, we talk, about important stuff, we talk about, things that can impact people, maybe even 1% if they can solve their problem, or maybe they can learn from it.
Yeah.
That's more than enough for us, right? और मेरा भी यही goal है कि like till 100 episodes I'm not gonna like look into the stats, kitne views, kitne likes, and all that. All I just want is my 100 guests on the podcast, जिनसे मैं बात करूँ, and then after 100 episodes, I'll like take aways, जो भी मेरे take aways हैं, I'll make a list of it and then I'll probably share and then I'll probably retrospect कि जो चीज़
Yeah.
मैं कर रहा हूँ is it worth like और भी मैंने इसको pursue करना है कि नहीं.
Yeah.
अगर तो करना है तो of course I'll like again मैं I'll further invest on that. बट
Yeah.
अगर
Yeah.
नहीं करना तो एटलीस्ट आई वुड नो कि मुझे क्या नहीं करना और क्यों नहीं करना, राइट.
Yeah.
सो
Yeah.
जस्ट अगर मैं इसको वन लाइन में लाइक कट मतलब इसको मैं बिल्कुल कंसाइज करूँ तो इट वुड बी just have conversations through your
Yeah.
laptop, and you don't need a mic, you don't need probably fancy headphones, you don't need a lighting setup, just webcam of your laptop and just like have a conversation with them, just like we are having a conversation. So that's it, you're already
Yeah.
very friendly, so you don't need like extra skills, extra effort to hold the conversation.
Yeah.
You're already pretty good at the primary skill, so all you
Yeah.
just need is a record button and a list of friends that you want to talk to. That's it.
Yeah. That was really good advice. Honestly, I might just do that in 2026. I've been meaning to make my list of goals. That's what I'll start earlier. But I think that maybe I might just do this. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that you actually mentioned, okay, when you speak things, they are probably there in some point of time. So
Yeah.
that's actually a theory, a science-based theory, which जो भी बड़े लोग हैं, what they do is they speak their goals. ठीक है,
Yeah.
दिन के बिल्कुल start में they speak their goals,
Yeah.
and then वो that's because of the energies, and फिर जो है वो एक
Yeah.
काफ़ी बड़ी theory है, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
know about this because you speak your
Yeah.
goals, so yeah, I'm not getting into too much details, but great job. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Amna, for coming, and I really hope that we have some value for the audience. We really do, and thank you so much for being, such an amazing guest, and I really love the conversation, every bit of it.
Yeah. And thank you for being such an amazing host. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. And I think we'll wrap the conversation here. By the way, if you want your profiles to get reviewed or you want to talk to, amazing people, Amna is the person. You can search on LinkedIn. She's probably the primary user of the LinkedIn, so you can like get connected with her. And if you need any help, she must be there. So
Yeah.
that's it. And bye bye.